Albert in Carshalton. I wonder if Mark can help me introduce my 10-year-old boy to some good non-kiddie science fiction films, but nothing too scary.
Silent Running.
He's still scared of the dark. Wait a minute. We caught the Duncan Jones film Source Code earlier this year at the cinema.
Oh, wow,
and he thought it was great. The first non-kiddie film I've seen. Wow, he said. So I'm thinking films like the original Planet of the Apes, Blade Runner, Minority Report, AI, and although I haven't seen it, but you do you do keep going on about it.
Silent Running.
Silent Running.
Can I just say, so how old is the kid?
He is 10.
AI is a strange thing. If you don't get into AI, it's boring and flatulent. If you do get into it, it's heartbreaking. When I first saw it, I didn't like it at all. And I have subsequently completely reevaluated it. And although I think that the Flesh Fair stuff doesn't work, it's not a great film for a 10-year-old, because it's like, if they don't get it, they'll be bored, and if they do get it, they'll be phenomenally upset. I mean, it's Pinocchio. And
so what else then?
Pinocchio is a very, very sort of troublesome story. Solaris is probably too... Actually, I tell you what, have a bash with 2001. I first saw 2001 when I was 10 or 11, and I was really knocked out by it.
But you're not normal. I think most people would find it crushingly tedious.
Really?
I think so, at that age, yes. Come on, something interesting.
Well, not Soylent Green.
No, he's 10.
I know, but you're saying interesting science fiction at the age of 10, and I'm just trying to think, Silent Running is the obvious one.
Star Wars?
No, well, that's what I'm shying away from, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you could... Well, yes, okay, yes, show him Star Wars as long as you show him Empire Strikes Back. I mean, he'll love Star Wars. Has he not seen Star Wars?
Hasn't been mentioned.
Well, yes, okay. In that case,
maybe that counts as
but do episodes 4, 5, and 6 rather than 1, 2, and 3. Moving on, the new Nick Cage film Justice, although it appears to have been called in other territories Seeking Justice. Nick Cage is an ordinary guy, right? Okay, he's just an ordinary guy
in a vest.
No.
Normally he is.
No, he's an ordinary guy. Happy marriage. Terrible thing happens. Appalling crime is committed. I'm just looking...
They steal his vest?
No. An appalling and genuinely unpleasant, horrible domestic crime happens against his spouse. No, really horrible crime. Whilst he is in hospital dealing with it, a very suspicious man comes up to him and says, "We know who did it. We can take care of them. Would you like us to take care of them?" Nick Cage says, no, I don't think so. He says, "I think you would like us to take care of them. If you would like us to take care of them, go over to the chocolate vending machine and buy 2 infinity bars." I'm not making this up. Nick does. Next thing, guy's been taken care of. Next thing, Nick is required to do some taking care of himself. But as he says, I'm not that kind. You got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy. Don't do that. So funny thing with Nick Cage is that there was a point when Nick Cage was this very, very respected, what we refer to in England as a character actor. I mean, Oscar fated for Leaving Las Vegas, which I still think is an absolutely brilliant performance. And then he sort of decided at some point to downshift into making what are essentially straight to DVD movies that happened to ship up in theatres. I mean, last week that thing Trespass was out, and this week there's this, and then we go back a little bit, and he was the sort of, the vampire hunter movie. He does a lot of these, and they are basically all your DVD needs. They just happen to be in theatres. And I mean, this, in the case of Seeking Justice, as it appears to have been called in other territories, Justice as it is called over here, it is pretty much the living definition of a straight-to-DVD movie, efficiently directed by Roger Donaldson, efficiently put together with A-list stars, but essentially it is a straight-to-DVD movie. It's raised above that to some extent by the fact that, you have got decent actors in it. You've got Guy Pearce as the threatening presence. You've got Jennifer Jones, January Jones is his wife, and Roger Donaldson knows how to put tab A into slot B and do it all in an efficient kind of action-packed way. And then at the centre of it, you have Nick Cage doing the Nick Cage performance, which increasingly becomes the same performance in whichever film he's in. He just does exactly that same old horse face, he's back again performance, and cruises his way through. The central idea, which is the nice little twisty idea, is, although it's an idea that has turned up before in several B movies, some of them incidentally produced by Roger Corman, is terrible thing happens, guy wants justice, somebody says, "We'll sort it out for you, but at some point in the future we may be required to ask you for a favour." And he says, "OK, fine," but he doesn't say OK. He goes and buys 2 bars of chocolate from thing, and the next thing you know, he's wrapped into a web of intrigue in which everybody is involved. And it ticks all the boxes, all the genre boxes, exactly as you'd expect, in the way that if you were reviewing this as a straight-to-DVD movie, you'd go, yeah, fine, absolutely perfunctory, on the nail. The strange thing is seeing it in cinemas, because it is not a movie that really ought to be in cinemas. It is a movie that is heading for the DVD shelves really fast, but it happens to be bypassing cinemas as it does it. That said, on the strength of Nick Cage's effortless bankability, one presumes that it will have made a healthy showing in the box office top 10 at some point. I mean, as in, it will be there.
Is it not really a movie about revenge and bad people, but actually about chocolate? Could it be?
Why about chocolate?
Well, because that's.
Oh, I see. Fine. No,
could it not be seen as that?
No, it's a movie.
Is that not a hidden
He was a
subtext?
man pushed to the edge. In a world of edges, he was pushed.
By eating 2 infinity bars.
Yeah, and also the other thing about it is, which it does, and this isn't a plot spoiler, but one of the things, essentially, in order to fulfill his side of the bargain, he has to become a killer. And yet, because the movie has this really kind of rigidly archaic structure, it doesn't allow him to be implicated in the. If the story was interesting, he would have had to have carried out a cold-blooded killing.
Right.
It isn't.